Welcome to On the Chain. This is Chip here with no Jeff. Jeff is not here tonight. Jeff is attending something with his family tonight, so he will not be in here. So you just have me for the entire time we're together. I don't know if it'll be a full hour. I'm a little bit late because I was speaking to my oldest daughter. I know she had called me for Father's Day, having a great conversation. So it went a little delayed. Then I had a little bit of a glitch when it came to some electronic issue, but here we are. Happy Father's Day to everybody out there as a father, and hope you had a fantastic day. I certainly did. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the XRPL. We're going to talk about a couple other digital assets as well. We're going to get into a little bit of XDC. We're going to talk a little bit about XRP and some other ones along the way as well. So let's go ahead and can we get this puppy going right now? Can we make this happen? I think we can. Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
So as I said, welcome everybody. Go ahead and drop in where you are coming from. Thank you for being patient. Sometimes it takes, wow, there is Carmichael in the house, Crypto Whelp in the house. We've got Rod Hale. Wow, Rod, haven't seen you in a while. We've got Eiswine in the house as well. Already starting with the Yeti. Let me see how many Yetis we got up here. Guys, type in Yeti. We got 3 already. You only type it once. You can type it 15 times. It's only going to register once. Tony says, Happy Father's Day. We love that. Jeff Sutton says, vacationing at Universal Orlando, normally from Danville, Indiana. Yeah, I always enjoy going to Islands of Adventure. Love that too. Atlanta in the house. We have... Yeah, congrats to the Florida Panthers. Not big congrats yet. They could have basically wrapped this puppy up had they won the other day. But now they're heading back to Florida, and they can win Game 7. I mean, they can win Game 6 and be done with it and win the Cup. If they don't, they're going to have to go back. Art's coming in from Hawthorne in Florida, which is a phenomenal little place. Everyone's throwing the Yetis in there. Let's go. What else do we have in here? Yeah, 21. In the UK. Yeah, I got some geopolitics coming up. Wait for that. That'll be pretty fun. Louisiana. All right. Louisiana. Where are you, Carmen? Exactly. Are you in New Orleans or where are you at? I'd love to see where you're at specifically. That's a pretty big, of course, we got Texas in the house as well. Where are our Aussies? No Aussies here today, man? Nobody from down under? What is going on? I know we've got Belgium in the house. That's always a thing. Of course, Chad. Says Chad's coming in from Celebration as always, which is great. Greetings from Celebration. Never misses. Colorado, Idaho. Man, fantastic. It's amazing to see all this come in. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, there we go. The King finally checking in from Australia. Yeah, that's our second biggest audiences in Australia. So it doesn't feel right if we don't have some Aussies in the house. So that's always a good thing to see you guys showing up in full form. It's good morning to you, good day, all that. It's morning, what is it, 10 a.m., 10:22 a.m. there for you guys. So it's a little bit on the early side. Let's go with this. I saw this was kind of interesting. I know it's expired, so I'll be like, oh, Chip, this expired already. I know, but there's a reason why I'm going to show it to you. But Uphold said its time is almost up, and well, officially is for this one, almost up to enter our XRP price prediction contest. I didn't even know they were running a price prediction contest. Did anybody know about that? I had no idea. So 10K in XRP is up for grabs. Not bad. 10K, $1 entry for every $50 traded. There you go. Or a +1 entry. Sorry. So for every $50 you trade, you get a +1 entry. That's how you enter the contest. The closest prediction wins. Final predictions are submitted. Of course, that was earlier today by 6 o'clock, 5:59 today. And starting the Uphold app. US only, except for New York. New York always gets excluded from everyone. Last chance to win. But I found out that this, we forget to mention it's a weekly contest. New chances for the grand prize every week. So if you want to use an exchange every $50 you trade, let's say you're buying XRP or Bitcoin, or you're buying some sats, whatever you're purchasing. If you do it on Uphold, you get a +1 entry. So if you spend $100, you get 2 +2s. And I guess you make a price prediction. I haven't done it myself yet, but I thought it was kind of a fun, interesting contest anyway. It's kind of fun to see that Uphold is having that. So that's always good to see. What else we have? Vincent's coming from the shithole known as New York. Oh, no. Say it's not true. And he says it's only because the Democrats or the demon rats or whatever you want to call them. Yeah, that's exactly right. There's a lot of great people that live there and probably wish that things were different. So yeah, you got to have the app to enter. Correct. You do have to have the app to enter. Hit the like to support OTC. Thank you for that, Sophie. Appreciate that. Good to see you, Sophie. And do you have Google Translate? Why would you say have to Google Translate? I have it on my phone. I always have it just in case. You never know when you're going to need it. This was another interesting thing, too. There's so much great stuff going on. It's hard to track it all. But saw this from Coin Bureau. It said a full XRP integration coming to Cardano, says founder Charles Hoskinson hints that a full XRP integration into Cardano plus Ripple USD DeFi features, Lace wallet support, and Glacier drops. A new crypto alliance could be forming. He's already kind of talked about this, so I don't know if they're picking up on it late. But again, it's good to remind everybody that this is happening. But what I didn't know about is about what the DeFi features are. So we have Flare that's going to have some DeFi coming to it for XRP holders. Some staking, some chance to earn some yield, and now it sounds like there's going to be another option. Now, what's weird is you don't have that native on the XRP ledger. We don't have unless it's a side chain, but there's nothing that's there. But because of Flare, because of Cardano, it looks like we're getting another shot at that, which is really pretty awesome. So that's really good. Let's see. Mike says he's on 3 teams. I don't know what that conversation is about. Thank you, Art, for liking. Appreciate that. It does help a little bit. I mean, we lose subscribers all the time. We are, I want to say the word, but we are throttled, if you want to say. Maybe that's a friendlier word, but we are throttled. We lose subscribers every day. Way too many. Not on videos that people actually watched or saw or clicked on or no. It's a very strange thing. So something is going on over there that I can't quite explain. And then this is interesting. We just talked a little bit about USDC coming to the XRP ledger. And on the heels of that, they had launched their very first USDC grant program. And grant program, as you know, a lot of different chains run grants. XRPL, or I would say Ripple, also sponsors one and sponsors grant money. Now you've got this one for USDC. Here's a grant program. They accepted their first cohort of recipients. It's interesting, as I started going down this list, I didn't really recognize anybody, but there's some interesting. Super excited to kick off our first USDC grant program cohort of 2025. Check out the awesome projects. So these are some of the projects. And I think they get up to $100,000 in funding. I don't know what the exact amount is, but when I checked the site, it said up to 100,000. So we'll have to check it and see what that looks like. But as I got to the bottom here, I was like, oh, look at that. Spend the Bits. Jay from Spend the Bits. And obviously, I've had a chance to meet Jay in person. I met him in Australia last year at the Gold Coast. That was last March of 2024. And then I looked at this post right here, and this is from Spend the Bits. We're thrilled to announce Spend the Bits has been awarded a Circle grant. Our mission to transform USDC from not just another stablecoin into real-world money, spendable, sendable, and stable across borders. Here's what we're building: a crypto-powered payment app where users can send Bitcoin or USDC and spend USDC via MasterCard debit card. Now, a lot of what the Jay and team are using over there to power this has to do with the fact that they are using the XRP ledger. So a lot of that's happening. If you remember Spend the Bits, we've been following them since the beginning here and since the inception. And Jay's actually been on the show before. But what they're really up to right here is the fact that they're leveraging the XRPL. They started off with Bitcoin. That's where the name came from, Spend the Bits. But a bit can be digital, and it can really apply to anything. It doesn't say spend the Bitcoin, right? But that's one of the use cases that started, because you can actually send Bitcoin for less money using the XRPL than you can almost anything else. I even think it's better. It's faster than Lightning too. Like Lightning Network, which is a side chain, sort of a level 2 L2 protocol to be able to send Bitcoin. But Jay came up with this really great use case for that. So he says it's available across Canada, and Jay is based up in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, El Salvador, and beyond. Powered by CCTP and Circle's API for seamless, secure, and scalable transfers. What's next? Thanks to Circle support, we're accelerating cross-border USDC remittances. This would be a big one. People want to send money or to use in USDC. It's going to be huge. Tap to pay stablecoin spending. There you go. Boom. Click on it. I also like this too. This is pretty interesting too. The fact that they're using a MasterCard debit card. So when you're using the MasterCard, instead of traditionally go in for credit or whatever else, it'll spend your crypto. But some people will go like, well, Chip, why would I want to spend my crypto? I'm hodling. I understand. But if you wanted to spend your crypto, this is a great way to use it. Anybody that accepts MasterCard, you don't have to worry about them accepting crypto because they're automatically going to take your payment. This is another way to sort of integrate with the traditional rails of the payment system that's already been established, the legacy payment system, because people are like, oh, I want to use my crypto. I want to use my Bitcoin. What about my XRP? Well, this is another great way that you'll be able to utilize it. So it says, massive thanks to Build on Circle for believing in our mission to bridge Web3 and the real world. The stable future's here and it moves in seconds. So big, huge congratulations to Jay and team. Fantastic that they were able to get this and really expand what Spend the Bits is doing. So I love the project, love those guys. So I'm really happy to see that. It's a big deal. Flare. So Flare, and I'll put this post out here. Together we turn the XRP Fi in concept into everyday reality. And this is all about being able to take your XRP and turning it and be able to make leverage, a yield or make some money by staking it. But if you look at this, it's pretty impressive. 150 builders and partners are joining Flare. So Flare is really blowing up. And Flare is relatively inexpensive right now. I mean, people are like, oh, I wish I would have bought XRP when it was sub 20 cents. How many people have you heard say that they wish that they could have purchased, XRP? But you told your friends, you were like, hey, this is great. They're like, no, but as it was going up, and I know some people the first couple years ago when it was going up, right when the lawsuit hit, they were purchasing at $1.75, $2 because they saw that something was happening with it, which is a big deal, much different than what we see today, where it's kind of like I would say stabilized to some effect, but a lot of the people who do the charts and have been pretty successful doing them, Blockchain Backer being one of them, it's calling for anywhere from $7 to $10 XRP, and happening in the next year and a half to 2 years. So these are people that have been pretty much spot on with a lot of other calls. So it's interesting to see, what their thoughts are. And if we take a look at Flare, I'm just going to pull up Flare here for us to look at. Let's see. It is, check this out, guys. So if you're interested, if you think this is going somewhere, look at this right here. We've got Flare is 0.018, just shy of 2 cents. That's USD. But if you look at, it's been a little bit of volatile here. Let's look at their all-time high. All-time high was 1.5 cent, right? 1.15. And now we're at 0.01. So you're talking about sub-penny stuff. And the most it's been was $0.015. So there you go. 0.01. Wait a minute, I think that's right. No, was it $1? What the heck? What the heck, man? Let me look at this. Where is the chart here? Yeah, 0.15. So it's 15 cents. There you go. That's what it was at one point. That was the old tie. It was January 10th, 2023, over 2 years ago. But you can see that if you even pull back on this chart a little bit, let's just go back to 1 year. There's 1 year right there. So there you are at the top. And if we pull down all the way, you can see that it's going back at some point. This says 0.05. What does this have? So anyway, that's where, potentially could end up being at some point, which is interesting. 15 cents. Correct. 15 cents. DCA Flare at $10 a week. What is this one? Fuma Boy says DCA Flare $10 a week. Oh, you're saying you're putting $10 a week in? Is that what you're saying? Why can't it hit 10? Right. Why can't it hit 10? Right. And I think it's going to be end up being a sleeper. Flare's really put in they got a great team, a great CEO. I think Hugo Fillion is fantastic. He has been somebody who, a lot of people got upset when Songbird came out. It was a test net, but I thought that they did, Jeff and I were always under the opinion that they did it the right way. Yeah, they took a little bit longer, but they pivoted a little bit. But I really think that they got a really sharp team, and they also rewarded the XRP community. So when you did the snapshot, maybe it was 2 years ago, every month you're receiving Flare, depending on when the snapshot was taken, how much XRP you had. So they've been always tied into the XRP community. Now with XRP Fi, it's even going to get better. So I just think it's really exciting to see all the partnerships that are coming into play and what they're actually doing. It's really good stuff here. And some XDC news. XDC, another one. What is XDC doing? Let me pull that up on the chart. Let's take a look at that. XDC is another one that Jeff and I both like. And let me see where the hang on a second. Let me just do a little search for it. But XDC is another one which I am always very shocked because XDC, in my opinion, has been like very underrated, probably more so than even XRP, quite honestly. Now, here, if we take a look at this, let me go ahead and throw it back on screen. There's XDC. We're at 5 cents, just shy of 6 cents, right? Now, if you look at the all-time high was, what am I missing it here? I don't see the all-time high. Why do I not see it? Oh, maybe I didn't go far enough up. All right, so 19 cents. This happened in 2021, almost 4 years ago. But if you look right there, its all-time high is 19 cents. So you generally know that at some point it does have the possibility. Again, I'm not giving financial advice, but if we just put our hats on and we look at an all-time high, chances are there's a good shot it could reach its all-time high again or surpass it. So 19 cents, almost 20 cents. And right now, that would be a 4x. And right now it's trading just under 6 cents, which is phenomenal. Okay. As far as that goes. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Here's some news. XDC Network in this episode, our host talking about the podcast and time to listen to it, but Head of Ventures and Ecosystem, building an XDC Network APAC, sits down with Yang, lead of technical account manager at Blockdaemon, to explore how institutional grade infrastructure is shaping the next phase of adoption on the XDC network. We see this happening a lot of different places. So from node to infrastructure and staking services to MPC wallets and DeFi APIs. ZJ breaks down how Blockdaemon is powering scalable and secure blockchain operations. And this is what they talked about, how Blockchain Daemon supports XTC master nodes and staking, what the story behind Blockdaemon, and say it, is it Daemon or Demon? I've heard of Daemon and Demon, both pronounced different ways, but I always said Blockdaemon, so we're going to stick with that for now. Why XDC's low gas, high throughput models ideal for institutions. Again, what their specialty is on the trade finance, which is a huge multi-trillion-dollar market. What XDC 2.0 brings the 3-block finality and forensic audit tools, and how staking is expanding across access for all. Whether you're a bank, custodian, fintech, or curious Web3 builder, this episode's packed with what you want to miss. I listened to a little bit of it. It's kind of long, but again, it's great to see that they just keep moving. They keep adding partnerships. And for some reason, I don't know what happens to the price, but it should be really moving along. Yeah, Chad says it's Damon. I think it's Damon too, but I've heard it pronounced Demon. I don't like the high demon because it sounds evil if you say demon. If you say Damon, it's like, oh, Damon. Okay, I got it. Sounds like a normal sort of a name. But if you say demon, it's like, ooh, I don't know about that. What's this right here? What are you saying here? Hodl the Hodl. It says Flare tweeted disclaimer: this communication is not intended for, and should not be acted upon any person in the United Kingdom. Are we banned from XRP? I don't know. It's a good question. I'll have to probably dig into that a little bit more, but it could be. They also probably don't want to get in trouble. There probably is some restrictions right now. So, and also too, you've got a different governance over there on how it might, for financial staking. So I don't know what the particulars are, but if they're putting a disclaimer out there, that means they don't want to get into trouble. That's what it means. It means they don't want to say the right thing and say, well, you put this post out and you were saying that it. So they are just basically, who knows? It might be something temporary. Hard to know exactly what goes on with half of this stuff, but I'll have to take a closer look at that. What else do we have here? I think I have a couple of videos here. I think I at least had one video here that I wanted to show. This was really around Flare here. So I want to talk about Flare. This was posted by Flare about what's next. So we'll listen in. It's a little over a minute long, but let's check this out.
Live. We are in Singapore where Apex 2025 is underway. This is the largest annual summit for the XRPL community. Our next guest will be on stage later talking all about XRP staking powered by Flare and TEEs. Flare co-founder and CEO Hugo Fillion joins us. Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Now, you're here at Apex 2025. You are going to be talking on stage later. Talk to me a little bit, give me a preview about what you hope to convey to the audience here.
Absolutely. So we're covering, the background of Flare is that it's a layer 1 blockchain which has fundamentally baked in data protocols into the chain. So this allows effectively the chain itself to get data from prices to Web 2 data to Web 3 data. This means you can build applications on the chain that are quite unique relative to other layer ones. We've built essentially the easiest and most robust way to bring data from external systems onto the chain. We're using that to increase the capabilities of the XRP asset and for people to be able to use that XRP asset to get yield through a restaking and staking service.
Talk to me about bringing data, off-chain data on-chain. What are some of the pain points that you're solving? What are some of the challenges that this helps solve for folks that are building and then also
Absolutely.
the folks who are using
the
products?
Fundamentally, you have two major challenges. First is safety. So safety is essentially, blockchains are not data, on the whole, not data native. Flare is. And how you secure the data coming onto the chain is quite important because a bad piece of data or a bad data print can affect downstream value through applications very, very strongly. So you have to have, as safe and as decentralized a system as possible, in our view. And that's what we've built Flare for. And then the second is ease of use. If you go to an Oracle and you try to get a piece of data, it can be very, very hard to acquire that data and to get a set of validators or nodes that will give you that data. On Flare, especially for Web 2 data, we've built a very generic system to be able to effectively get data from pretty much any open API that you wish to use. So safety and effectively usability for developers, and that's critical. Those are very strong pain points.
I got to ask you about AI because everyone loves to talk about AI now. I think when we talk about data, there is a real AI play here. How are you thinking about integrating AI into what you're doing? And does that help you kind of solve those problems faster and make this data a little bit more transparent?
So I think there's a large nexus between the data that we can provide and machine learning AI. It remains to be seen how people want to develop that out in crypto, in blockchain. A lot of the AI projects we've been seeing are maybe first gen and need a lot of improvement. The way we think about AI, we're a blockchain that provides data, but blockchains really suck at compute. They don't have large amounts of compute power. And so we're building an off-chain verified compute layer that complements the blockchain, gives you a large amount of guarantees over the code that is running in that layer. And that's where I think there'll be a real expression of AI together with Flare's data.
Now, let's talk a little bit about XRP staking. I know that you are going to be discussing that on stage a little bit later. Talk to us more about this partnership and what this means for folks who are holding XRP.
Oh, absolutely. So we're building with an entity in the US called Firelight. We're building a staking platform for XRP. And it's going to start with things like staking to AVSs. An AVS is actively validated service. This is a service either on-chain or on a different chain or a layer 2 that needs to acquire value in order to bootstrap its ecosystem, acquire security value. That's the fundamental premise of effectively staking in this manner. But we're also going to be providing different types of vaults. So you have a risk strata, starting with very, very, very low risk things like staking to AVSs, but there'll be other vaults with different risk levels that do more interesting financial activities with XRP. And so people will be able to pick effectively the level of risk that they want, obviously compliant with regulation. So from very simple low risk things to higher risk, higher return things. And that's the sort of promise that staking represents for XRP, which is, of course, a $134 billion asset and a huge use case for Flare and a huge use case for being able to put XRP to work in other areas.
You said obviously compliant with regulation. So far at the desk, we've spoken about regulatory regimes all over the world. We've talked about MAS here in Singapore. We've talked about the US. We've talked about MiCA over in Europe. How do you ensure that that compliance is up to par with all the different regulatory frameworks in the jurisdictions that you operate in?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm fundamentally I'm an infrastructure builder, and so I don't really build applications. The things that we build are sort of not. We don't have to think necessarily about compliance because it's very core infra. For our partners that build applications that people are going to directly use, that's their sort of bread and butter. And you know, you just have to. I think you have to pick the hardest regulatory regime that you want to attack, and be compliant in that area, and then hopefully that gives you compliance across the spectrum.
All right, we are at Apex 2025 in Singapore. What are you hoping to walk away from the event with, and what are you hoping to walk away from the region with as you go back home and continue to build?
Absolutely. So, you know, I hope the XRP community and the people at Ripple will understand, you know, what we're building with Flare and Firelight. It's obviously the first major use case for our blockchain for data. We obviously intend to go way beyond, you know, just XRP staking. There's huge value in using data and compute to increase the capabilities of DeFi applications. We think we have probably a list of 30 things we would like to have built. So if you're a developer out there, come and talk to us. That utilize the very unique nature of Flare's stack, from, you know, AI to way more interesting financial primitives than currently exist. So that's sort of where we are. So I'm hoping that the audience here will understand how they're going to be able to use their XRP to get yield, and then participate downstream in the DeFi ecosystem with a liquid stake token. This then allows them to effectively retain their position in XRP, but also get some financial performance out of it, other than just the beta to the market.
You mentioned a little bit about what you're thinking about next, wanting to go beyond XRP staking. What is that next step? Can you give us a little bit of alpha?
Absolutely. So we obviously have XRP staking, we have a DeFi ecosystem, but we're building out a verifiable compute layer. I think that once you have a compute layer, you can start looking at, okay, well, how do I put things like risk models into a compute layer? Once I have a verifiable risk model that can't effectively be changed arbitrarily, because this is the guarantee that blockchain gives you, is that, you know, this is the guarantee you want to replicate from what blockchain gives you with a verifiable compute layer, which is that the code is the code and it doesn't, you know, it's fairly immutable. What you then have is you have data, you have compute, you have liquidity, and suddenly you have a very interesting substrate against which to build really quite complex cross-chain, multi-chain products, both for institutional and for retail.
Hugo, thank you so much for joining us at the desk. I look forward to seeing you around the event.
Thank you, my pleasure.
All right, so that right there was what is going on here? There we go. So that was a little bit introspective of seeing that was Hugo Fillion from this what just concluded this past week, which was the Apex that Ripple puts on every year. It was in Singapore this year, and Jeff sent me a message that he says your wallet is still the address is, what did he say? I'll tell you specifically what he told me. He said the address was not valid. Now, what might happen if you have a Zaman wallet and you haven't put any funding there, that could be part of the issue too. So make sure that it's funded. You need to put at least 10 XRP over there on that wallet. So that might be one of the things. Otherwise, we're going to have to get your wallet. We'll make sure you get the Yeti. So don't worry, we'll work it out that you do get it. Something's going on. If we get something that says invalid, we'll have to dig in a little bit deeper, but make sure that, do you actually have XRP in that wallet address that you gave us? Because we'll have to know if that's possible. Zeds also says Flare is going to explode. I'm like, well, look, when it goes up to $3 or $4, people will be like, oh my gosh, I remember it was like 1 cent, and then it was 10 cents, then 15. I'm not saying it's going to do that, but it's probably in a good position. I do think it will be a sleeper. Who knows when it's going to get there, but I'm like, if it hits 10 cents, that's almost 10x, right? Just about, not quite honestly, but it's not there. So, you know, we'll figure out what it is. So it's very funded. Okay. So you gave us the wrong address. Make sure too, when you're in your Zaman wallet, you can be on the other network. You can be on Zahao. So they're two separate addresses. When you're in your Zaman wallet, you have to make sure you're on the XRPL part of it. And then when you make sure you're sending the because we generally, if you send us your wallet address, we don't usually have any issues, but it's saying it's not valid. So either that or it could be wrong. The best way to do that is to copy and paste it. You just kind of click on it and paste it out of your wallet. So anyway, we'll get it resolved. We do have we can send you a direct message and we can work with you. Jeff will work with you to get that figured out. But don't worry, you'll get your Yeti, man. That's not going to be a concern, or shouldn't be a concern. It might be a concern right now, but I do want to play the Yeti that we are giving away today. Let me go and I will play the video. Here we go, guys. So let's play this one. This one's a little bit shorter. Jeff made this one a little bit shorter. So we're going to go ahead and play this one. But here we are about halfway through the show. Let's go ahead and play this. We'll give it away a little bit later in the show. We have 11 people in the Badass Yeti contest so far. So to win. Here we go. Let's go.
With a Badass Yeti from the blue.
Okay, well, that's not I thought he said he put together a video. Am I losing my mind? Maybe he didn't. Maybe he just... Well, you said it was the last one. So I don't think he has a video put together. Maybe it's just the music. Let me see here.
Word of the day, Yeti, you got your Zarman wallet ready. Why? 'Cause this is gonna be epic. It's time to claim your legendary blue Tribe Yeti.
That's not even the right song, so I don't know what he's talking about. He said he put it in there, but it's not in there apparently. So there you have it. There is no thing. He said it was the last one in there. It is not the last one in there. I do not see let me see, is this it? No. I don't know why he didn't load in why he didn't load it in. It's just a song, but it's not the video. I thought he put the video in there. Here it is. Okay, my bad. In the wrong place. Here we go. Let's take a look. There you have it. That's your 80s hair band sort of song, going back and dipping into some old style there. But there it is right there, the Badass Yeti. Another little prowler we're giving away tonight, and that'll be coming up in just a little bit. Let's get into some geopolitics here. I wanted to, Rob Schneider, who you probably remember from Saturday Night Live, but he's always putting cool stuff up. But he put this up here that... This is Rob Schneider. He says, what is this right here? Just another Democrat calling for violence against the President of the United States. Libs of TikTok put this up. Breaking update. Rep. Julie Van Hoffen breaks her silence, issues statement after sharing a photo calling for the beheading of President Trump. Not buying any of this. She knew exactly what she was doing. She's just sorry she got caught. Julie needs to face accountability and consequences. And leftist political violence is at an all-time high. They've been getting away with it for too long. Enough's enough. The NC House Speaker must do something. And there it is right there. Representative Julie Van Hoffen. Yesterday, I posted a video on social media containing crowd photos from the No Kings protest in Raleigh. One of the images of a protester holding a sign was inappropriate. I later edited the video to remove the photo. Let me be clear. I condemn political violence in all forms. My focus remains on bringing People together and fighting for the values that matter most. The North Carolinians, like so many, I was horrified by the violence in Minnesota. There's no place for that. Yeah. So there you go. Wow, this is sick right there. There it is right there. So I guess, yeah, see the beheadings. So, I don't know. I mean, it's easy after the fact. You can say like, "Oh, I don't stand for this. Oh, I'm so appalled. It's rough. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened." But if nobody says anything, well, that's okay. That's fine. I guess you can just deal with it. So no one's going to say anything after the fact. So anyway, let's see. What else did I have here? I thought I had something else from him. Okay. Moving right along here. This guy says he's never, the Prickly Thistle says he's never deleting this app. This is a good one. Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, says Trump's parade will cost taxpayers up to $45 million. For example, with that money, we could expand healthcare and food assistance for veterans. A taxpayer-paid birthday gift to Trump. Sounds like the government waste to me. Yeah, celebrating the 250th anniversary. Sure, that sounds like of the armed services. Sounds like a waste of money, doesn't it? PCS Nation said USAID was given $45 million grants for hamster dental care in Bora Bora. Pipe down, pale feather. They called her Pale Feather. Pale Feather, better known as Pocahontas, her nickname, because she basically is pretty rough. Now, this is going on right here. Of course, something horrible happened. You had 4 people that were executed, and it's pretty sad. But before we get into that, I want to play the video first off of kind of like set the stage for this. But what happened here is we have Minnesota Rep. Melissa Hortman. In Minnesota, she was one of the only Democrats that sided with the Republicans of voting against having illegals get health care. So she voted against it. She came out and spoke to the cameras. She was kind of teary-eyed, and this is right before she got killed. So it's a little bit suspicious here. The person who, one of the suspect, I should say, the alleged suspect, was none other than somebody who was appointed by Tim Walz. Tim Walz ran with Kamala Harris as the VP, potential contender. And so there's a lot of weird stuff going on. It's a weird rabbit hole. I was looking at some other stuff today that guy's wife was caught, and it's getting weirder and weirder and weirder. I was even watching local news. Not enough a little bit sparse on the data points to be able to show you guys. But here is Melissa Horton.
I know that people will be hurt by that vote, and we worked very hard to try to get a budget deal that wouldn't include that provision.
DFL Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman emotional following the House's adjournment from a special session Monday. Hortman was the lone DFL lawmaker to cast a vote to cut Minnesota Care access for undocumented immigrants. It's a move she made with a heavy heart.
I did what leaders do. I stepped up and I got the job done for the people of Minnesota.
The bill was deeply unpopular with members of the DFL caucus. Members have repeatedly expressed frustration that the bill was part of a compromise, one that would ensure the necessary GOP votes to pass the rest of the state budget.
We are tremendously disappointed and gut-wrenched at this decision, at this compromise that compromises our communities that are most vulnerable.
Hortman knows she let down her own caucus members with the vote.
They're right to be mad at me. I think some of them are pretty angry. I think that their job was to make folks who voted for that bill feel like crap, and I think that they succeeded.
Over in the Senate, a similar situation unfolded. Senate Majority Leader Erin Murphy forced to vote for a bill she too disagreed with to uphold the integrity of their compromise.
This one hurt. This one is a wound because of its reason. My colleagues across the aisle set this as their number one priority.
Asked whether the move would drive a wedge between her and the rest of her caucus, her DFL colleague, Senator John Marty, quickly stepped to her defense.
As a member of the caucus, yes, sir, she clearly was fighting against it every step of the way. In the negotiations, if we wanted a budget, we had to agree to that. She agreed to put up one vote for us because of that.
Reporting in St. Paul, I'm Quinn Gorham.
I mean, this is horrible. I mean, here now you have somebody who lost their life because they, coincidentally, I mean, this is connected. The fact that she came out and said they needed a budget, she went ahead. Can you imagine too, being a Democrat, going against your caucus, but also doing the right thing? I mean, this is to cut off funding for illegals to have access to healthcare. I mean, what are we talking about here? Why are they fighting so hard for illegals? This is hard to believe, but no, regardless of where she voted, nobody should lose their life. I really hope it's not connected, but it seems very politically motivated. But of course, all the data is not in, and we surely don't know. But it seems very, 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 very suspicious, I should say. It's just really horrible. That just shortly after she gave that statement, she and her husband, someone showed up, posed as a cop, and they were both executed, which is pretty sad. I don't know. I just don't understand what happens to what's going on in this world today, man. I mean, is that supposed to send a message? Who knows? But here we go, right here. Senator Mike Lee is in trouble right here because Mike Lee faces calls to resign. Of course, who's calling for him to resign? It isn't Republicans. Controversial post on Minnesota shooting, nightmare on Wall Street. Because Tim Walz, this guy right here, put on a latex mask allegedly, let me say, and posed as a cop, knocked on the door, and like I said, executed Melissa Hortman. We were just watching. And then this is the gentleman right here. He was also appointed by Tim Walz, which is why he says nightmare on Wall Street. And then Eric Doherty says, no, Senator Mike Lee shouldn't be the one resigning. Tim Walz should. Tim Walz came out and said, we're not doing anything, making any harsh decisions till all the data points are in. But it's looking pretty weird, man, that there's so many people connected. There's some other weird stuff going on that he's connected to. I don't know what's going on, to be honest with you. We had this yesterday. We had the big celebration at the White House. And also we had, this No Kings. This is so stupid, right? No Kings. They were celebrating in the UK, no kings, okay, where they have a king. They were protesting against the United States not having a king in a country where they have a king. It's the weirdest damn thing. I mean, I don't even know which end is up anymore. I mean, it's gone completely psycho madness out there. Everything, wrong is right, right is up, left is, upside down. Everything's totally discombobulated. So, they're saying January 6th was a riot. No kings is an insurrection. Suppose we bring it with a simple legal question. What constitutes an insurrection? U.S. federal law under 18 U.S.C. 2383 defines an insurrection as an organized, violent uprising against the authority, and this is it. So, and the only way that President Trump can dispatch, because of the Quasi-Commonwealth Act that was passed in the 1800s, you can't have any of the military services on U.S. soil unless he would issue an insurrection. Then they could be dispatched. But for now, they're standing down. Time to call for the No Kings, what it really is, an insurgency. What we've seen over the past couple of weeks meets every moral and legal definition of insurrection. So I feel like at some point we probably will get there. I don't know how you guys feel. I feel like they will get there. Yep. Absolutely flooding with distractions and BS. It's a message to the party. If you do not step out of line, could very well be. You simply can't have open borders and a welfare state. Exactly. But why a party who represents their constituents, whatever state, whatever county, whatever jurisdiction they're in, why would you fight for somebody that are not your constituents? But maybe their constituents are. Maybe they've been voting for them. Maybe that's how they got into office. Just saying, just the possibility of a. We have 18 in the entry for the Badass Yetis. No Kings. Remind me how many votes Kamala got in the Democrat primary. Exactly. She was anointed, and she was basically appointed, right? So there was no primary. She just was like, and some sketchy supposed letter that was signed by Biden, which probably Biden had no idea about, which is very, 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 very strange and odd altogether. And let's see what else we have here in the grab bag. I wanted to play these two things. Last night they had quite a nice celebration at the White House. I watched a little bit of that. I watched the tanks going by. I watched the song. It was a really long, celebration. But they also had some fireworks at the White House. I wanted to play this. This is, just kind of like top off what happened yesterday. There it is. Celebration 250 years of the United States Army.
Thank you for joining us on this historic occasion.
There we go. That was put out by the White House. Indeed, a historic occasion. So you have Pocahontas complaining about spending money on that. Meanwhile, she has no problem with dental care for hamsters or whatever. I mean, there was so much waste and all that stuff. She sits there and complains up and down. She spent 13 years in Congress. She's got zero bills across the okay. All she does is complain, cry, and construct straw man arguments. And I usually have my daily blast on her every day just because I just cannot stand the woman. She's absolutely a detriment, enemy of the people. And if we look at some what's going on in California, this right here was this was like an ad put out by California. It kind of really explains California in a different way, but here you go. Let's listen. Let's watch this.
Come to California, the land of paradise where
safety is our biggest concern. Emotional and mental health is a major priority.
law and order is paramount. We love America! Love is everywhere.
And peace is found right here, every day.
We love California. We love California.
We love California.
We'll see you here soon.
There you go. Well, I don't know. It seems pretty on point from what I can see. Everything I looked at, California's gone down the drain. It's getting really bad out there. I mean, just think about this. Ronald Reagan was the governor 2 terms in California. It almost seems hard to believe, knowing where California is, where it's been and where it's gone. It's absolutely insane. And I have friends that live out there, and they're like, yeah, they love California, but they cannot stand the politics and all the other stuff. But again, there are a lot of red parts. Unfortunately, the cities just run amok with this leftism, and even the fact that you can't even walk down the street in San Francisco. There's just needles and feces and smells like urine. It's absolutely gotten so bad, but they keep voting for it. But they're just not happy about what the scenario is. They keep voting for more of it, and they keep voting for the next leftist who's worse than the last one. So the policies keep getting worse. We saw this happen in New York with the mayors. It just keeps getting worse and more bent out of shape. But what about the UK, you're saying? Well, hey, what about Chip? What's going on in the UK? Well, here's a look into, someone had a vision of what it might look like, London in 2035. Let's take a look. This, by the way, this is what AI is really good for. Putting these really fun videos together, these parody videos. This is the thing that I love the most. But here is London, Stan, 2035.
London in 2035. Please leave. You haven't got a fob on. Is he taking the piss? Fucking mug. Right then, got the thobe. Blending in, yeah? Come get your fresh meat, no pork, all halal, mashallah. Well, that's breakfast ruined. No more bacon baps then. A bit risky, this one. But I heard you can still get the real stuff.
Well, what you after, fella?
2 packs of smoky bacon.
Mate.
I haven't seen these since the ban.
Shout me, 10-10 bacon day.
Here for the big announcement. Let's see what they've got to say.
Effective immediately, all pubs across England will be closed. Alcohol is now officially banned.
I can't believe what I'm seeing. This is incredible.
Excuse me, mate. What's going on here? Where are you all heading?
We're illegally immigrating to Poland.
We're out of here.
Wow. Legally immigrant. You know, I'll tell you, sometimes it's parody and sometimes it's closer to reality than people might even expect or even know. But there you go. Yeah, that about says it all. I don't know what you're talking about, California or London, but it might be one of each. Yeah, this is fun. There are videos about travelers going to Paris crying that they can't even walk the streets. Oh, no. It's absolutely 100% true. He closed all the mental hospitals, which allowed the wackos back into the gene pool. There you go. Find the Beach Boys parody video. Send it to me for next time. I'll have to. I think I've seen it, but you'll have to send it to me. Chad, I'm not going to get. I don't think I'll get to it today, but interested in taking a look at it for sure. What else we have here? And then this is what I'm going to end with. And we're going to do the Yeti, and then we're going to get out of here, man. Get out of here on time. On time today. So, and the next time we talk to you, maybe on Wednesday night, with Jeff will be back. Hopefully, we'll be talking about the Panthers being the Stanley Cup champions. If not, that means there's going to be a Game 7 on Thursday, but we'll certainly see how that goes. Truth always hurts, absolutely, but we're not afraid to talk about it here on the chain. We give our opinion, like it or not, agree with it or not. We just give it. We want to be completely, we don't want to sugarcoat anything, and of course, we want to be authentic. And sometimes our thoughts, people agree with, sometimes they don't. But here's this guy right here. I thought if I just saw this randomly, I would have liked to have seen the longer clip. Maybe someone took an excerpt from it. But interesting how this guy talks to this leftist here wearing a mask. Okay, here we go.
I want to answer my question. When Joe Biden became president in 2021, how many illegal immigrants he let over here? 12 million. The 20 million illegal immigrants that came into this country, you couldn't do that in no other country. You couldn't do that nowhere else. You ain't going to Europe. You're not even going to the Middle East and doing that. You ain't even going to Africa and doing that. Yet they come here, and not only they come here illegally, but they're violating the laws by violating the citizens of this country. This is the only place here, and y'all know that, and it's conducive for illegal immigrants to come here because you have an opportunity to go ahead and make something out of yourself. Only thing we saying is do the process the right way.
He's absolutely right. That's all any of us been saying is like, listen, we're not. They always get it wrong. You're against immigration. No, against illegal immigration, right? Always for the best and brightest coming in here, getting vetted, making sure. I mean, the problem is there's this long line of people that have been waiting. They've spent tens of thousands of dollars to do it the right way. And because somebody walked across the border, millions of people walked across the border, what? They get to stay? But the people that are doing it the right way, that have been going through the system and they've been waiting years, this is a travesty. This is an absolute travesty. The people who want to come here, who want to become, Americans, bring their customs with them, but they want to make a better life for themselves, their families, the hard workers who want to open a business, whatever, they get ousted. So it's a very ridiculous process where the people who, and I've talked to a lot of folks who spend time, energy, money coming here to do it the right way, and they're not happy that people just walk across the border and they're the ones that want to stay. So it's not fair to the people who are doing the right thing. So I think we have to get back to, processing, more legal immigrants coming over here the right way, vetting people so we know, that have a track record. They're flying people in that didn't even have. I mean, I was, when I, for my job, I fly a lot, and I was with somebody who just walked through. Didn't have a paper, didn't have a passport, didn't have nothing. Just walked through, didn't speak the language, pushed them right through. I had to show I'm a frequent traveler. I mean, I had to show all my stuff. I had to get searched because something set off the alarm. And then they're patting me down. I'm like, but this guy just walks through like nobody knows who he is. And Jeff and I came back from Australia. We were in LA, and there was probably about 15 kids with backpacks, maybe 13, 14, 15 years old. No parents around, only spoke Spanish, understand Spanish a little bit. And they were just saying that they were alone because they were asking, like, where are your parents? They said, we're alone. They're just flown into the country. They don't have, I don't know who was going to get them, where they're going to end up, but they were basically just solo. So it's like, you experience this yourself. You see this. It's pretty sad to see exactly what's going on. It's really, it's for the children. It's never for the children. Children will always, we have 400,000 kids that they don't know their whereabouts. They don't know where they are. 400,000. You think about an average stadium, football stadium holds around 60 or 70. The biggest college football, American football stadium here holds 110,000 people, and it's in Michigan. So you have 400,000 kids missing. Nobody knows where they are, and nobody wants to take responsibility for it. That's travesty. Absolutely horrible. Crimes against humanity. Absolutely. It's just insane. It's horrible. Horrific. And nobody's talking about it. Not enough people are talking about it. Okay, guys, let's get to the drawing here. Let's get to the drawing. Can we get to the drawing already? Sure, we can. Let's do this. All right. Let me go ahead and put this up on the screen. I'm going to pull it. We have 18. Guys, your last chance to pull the Yeti. Pull the Yeti. Otherwise, we're giving it away. Here we go. Share my screen. And here's the Yeti. 18. So you have a 1 in 18 chance. Pretty damn good odds. Here we go. You put the Badass Yeti song on while we're waiting here. It's always kind of nice to have a little bit of music in the background. Where is the Badass Yeti song? Here we go. That's not the Badass Yeti song. Where's the damn Badass Yeti song? Don't know.
And roasted.
Okay, that's not it. There we go. Guys ready? Let me put this on screen. Let's go. Who's it gonna be? You got 19 in here, and we get it pulled. Let's go. Art on the lake wins. Art on the lake is the big winner. That's awesome, Art. Big winner. Winner of the Badass Yeti. This is the little prowler. He is awesome. Let me see if I can pull him up here. Hang on a second. Give me a second to log in here. Let me double check here. I got to get logged in. But Art on the lake, I want to see that you're here. And then we also need your X handle as well. So you dog, says Jim D. You dog. Congrats, says Mike. Nice, says John Doe. Beautiful. Eyes went, dude, you called that one. Huzzah. He's here. Bam, right there, baby. Right there. Okay, so we'll wait for you to get your wallet. And that means I'm going to have to log in to YouTube to get it. Let's see. See if I can go in there. And then YouTube videos are playing. That's always awesome. Let's see. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can. Here we go. Let me see. Okay, so I'm just waiting. There it is, Art. Very good. Let me see. Can I grab this thing? Should be able to grab it. Let me just grab this. Copy this into put it in my notepad real quick here. And then I should be able to. All right. I just want to double check, guys. So it starts with RFY and ends in 4K7. Is that correct? RFY 4K7. It is correct. Yes, it is correct. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is let me go ahead and log in. Let me connect the Zaman wallet, and I will send it over to you. And Art too, if you could also drop your X handle, because then when I go ahead and post this on X, we'll be able to make sure that we can get you tagged in that as well. So let me go ahead and scan this puppy here. Go to my Zaman wallet. Just log in here, guys. Let me see. It wants me to update. I'm not updating now. Every time you want to do something with an app, it's like, oh, you have to update it nonstop. It's always a pain in the ass. Okay, so yeah, this is where. Let's see. Okay, let me scan the code. There we go. Slide to accept it. So I'm going to go ahead and log in here. Okay. And let's go to the number that we are giving away tonight. What is the number? I know, Jeff, I couldn't find the document that we have. Jeff's like, yeah, it's in there. No, I couldn't find it. So luckily, he gave me the number in a chat we have here. And I'm trying to find it. So 6. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see. And I can't, so that's not good. So we may have to, I don't know why I cannot. I know why. Okay. So, guys, sorry. This is what happens when you do the show solo. No fun. No good. No good at all. Let's see. Let's try this one. And the number was, I'm not a big fan of giving these away either. That's 16. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't see it in here. He's got a tag, but I do not see it connected. Let me double check into something else. Hang on, guys. Hang on. Okay, I did find it. Beautiful. Okay. Let me go ahead and get this transferred over. It was sneakily hiding out. Okay. All right. So I'm sending it right now. Okay. Transfer. Okay. Let me go ahead and scan the code. We're getting somewhere. This is good. This is good, guys. Let's see here. Let's scan the code. Bam-o. There we go. And it's on its way. It is going. It is going. It's verifying right now. And it is still verifying. Boom. Successfully sent. So Art, check, go log into XRP.cafe and make sure that XRP, once you go there, make sure that you actually have the you log in there, and you should see the transfer. It also shows up in the Zomin wallet too, but again, I haven't transferred it. But there's a way to get it in your Zomin wallet too. You got to kind of click around and like search for it. Wish I had better directions on that. You're not on X, is that right? Not on X, man. Come on. All right, you have some homework to do. Get on X, open an Art on the Lake account at Art on the Lake, and whether you post anything or not, you can at least read stuff that's going on, and you can read news and all that stuff. So, but it doesn't take please allow 4 to 6 weeks for delivery. It's 4 to 6 seconds, Chad. Come on now. You guys are rough. OTC should pair up NFT Yetis with some AI MPEGs. Yeah. So there you go. We ought to do that. Anyway, guys, listen, Jeff will be back on Wednesday night. So we will be doing the show on Wednesday, but thank you for coming in and for stopping by here tonight. Guys, have a good week. Again, all the fathers out there, I wish you a happy Father's Day. Hope you had a great day. And thank you for everybody who comes in late from Belgium and in the morning over there in Australia. So really appreciate you guys as well. And that's all the time we have. And we will be heading out, and I'll be doing getting ready for the brand new week. And that's always a good thing. Summer's here. The time is right for dancing in the street. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that, man. Happy Father's Day to you, too. Happy Father's Day. Thank you. Appreciate that. Top mark, celebration. Oh, celebration's out. I will be out in a second. Zed says, thanks. Zed, go ahead and DM Jeff. Make sure we'll get that over to you. Don't worry. We'll get it worked out. You're going to get your Yeti. No one else is going to get them. You're going to get your Yeti, your badass Yeti. So appreciate that. Eyes wine. And we'll get there. So appreciate everybody coming in tonight. We will see you guys on the next one. That'll be Wednesday night. Chip and Jeff from wherever he is, we are out. See you guys on Wednesday.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.